Hi everyone and welcome to your daily guidance. Today's reading is a little bit special and different because instead of focusing on a very specific question, I just allow the universe, the spirit, guides, the divine intelligence, whatever we want to call it, to deliver us very random, not specific guidance, advice, or a very short message to everyone who reads or listens. And this is where you can just choose what resonates for you, what is true for you and your own specific situation, and just discard and not take into consideration anything else. Or if you are, for example, guided to one specific card, you can just listen to that and ignore the rest, or however you are actually guided and inspired to take this reading, this guidance, and of course the interpretation of the cards. Before I get started, I would like to just say a very massive thank you to my really lovely, generous, kind-hearted and beautiful cousin for gifting me this wonderful set of cards, which actually inspired and gave me this idea to do just general guidance. I can see why this type of reading or this type of very quick and general kind of channeling is that much more useful for some people. So I will try my very best to bring you such readings in the future as well. So once more, thank you so very much for gifting me and of course my public with these cards. I'm definitely going to put them to the best use I can find for them. The Queen of Swords reversed is the first card and the first guidance, and this is a message from the universe and your guides that you're trying very, very strongly to build very stable, very palpable, very clear future plans in order to ensure your future stability. This can be material stability, it can be your job, your career, your family, your home. Or it can also represent like business ideas, plans, project for the future if you are into business or if you have a business or a company of your own. But the biggest problem is that the future is so very uncertain that you simply cannot make very stable plans because everything is so very changeable, everything is so very relative, and you simply don't have all the information and all the foresight, all the elements that you need to anticipate the future or to make really logical and really safe calculations which can help you. This can be really frustrating. This can really drive you into overthinking mode. It can make you worry, but at the same time it can make you extremely critical both of yourself and others, and this frustration can just play out in your life as harsh words, criticism, or rejecting anything and everyone that other people might offer. And at the same time, this is where absolutely nothing resonates with you. You don't even know what you want to accomplish in the future. You know what you need. You know everything that needs to be done and needs to be, set into place. But what you need and what you truly want are totally different things. And this is also, promoting that hair splitting attitude of yours where you just analyze everything in almost an obsessive way. And this is exactly why your guides are telling you that because you are so very focused on the future, you are an extremely intelligent person with a very profound and very skilled foresight. You can anticipate with great ease very many things that are imminently going to happen in the future, but right now you are basically blocked because your mind doesn't have everything that it needs to make a true anticipation. So you're just speculating right now, and this is taking your attention and your focus and the presence of your mind away from the present and you just dwell in a very timeless state in an uncertain future. But this is where you should be focusing much more on the past, because this is where you had certain plans in the past, certain things that you started doing which are actually happening in the present moment. You are achieving progress, you are on your way to victory, to success. Something that seeds of intentions that you planted in the past are flourishing in the present moment. Just that because your intention and focus is not there, you cannot see your advancement, your evolution, your success that you are actually accomplishing right now. So this is like happening outside of your express awareness, where you might have a lot of very good signs of progress right now in your life, just that you don't see them for that, you don't see them for what they truly are. And that is exactly why your guides are advising you to take a much closer look on what you have in your life in the present moment, because there is potential there that you shouldn't really afford to miss. The next card is the Strength card, and this delivers a message that you have a lot of energy inside of you, mostly creative energy, fiery energy, the element of fire, which is a little bit stagnating and stuck and blocked. But this isn't really your fault, it is just the way it is. But a very good idea how to start that flow, how to unblock these energies, is to do physical exercise. It is to involve the physical well-being of your body and combine it with your spiritual practices. Now this can play out in a number of different ways. For example, you might be interested in doing some yoga, doing some breath work, for example, qigong, or anything that involves a physical element, even if it's just mantras or affirmations, or in a very much simpler manner, just taking a walk in nature, or simply doing some physical exercise, even some chores. But this will allow your mind to be much more receptive to its higher functions, to its non-linear kind of logic, to epiphanies, to divine downloads, or simply it can just promote that brainstorming that you need to come up with a plan for a big breakthrough, for example. Because when your body is in a very comfortable and beneficial physical routine, for example walking, being in the gym, some people meditate while they take a shower or have a bath or anything like that. When your body is in a rhythm of its own and it's more on autopilot than on anything, then your mind is greatly empowered in a very non-aggressive, non-forceful way, and many information and things can just come to you. But at the same time, this uses and mobilizes the energy within your body. So it is a very healthy and pleasant routine, both spiritually and physically, for both the mind, spirit, and body. So this card really encourages you to do some physical exercise and combine it with your contemplation, meditation, or whatever you feel comfortable or guided to do. The next card is the Devil, and this represents a very powerful spiritual lesson that some of you guys still need to learn in a very profound manner. Because, mentally or even emotionally you may understand this lesson, but understanding it is just one thing. But actually living it through and seeing the hardcore spiritual and karmic truth behind it is a totally different thing. And the Devil suggests that you might be someone who is looking for love or romance or a long-term partnership, but this part of your life or this area of your life is blocked and has been blocked for quite some time, and you didn't really understand why. And you have done a lot of inner work, psychological work, everything that you needed to do to remove the chains and shackles to why you thought it was blocked. and you weren't wrong whatsoever, because that was a very important work that you have done. Just that this is the last thing that still remains to be solved, so to speak, because the future depends very much on this. Now, the big spiritual lesson here is to differentiate love from lust. And maybe you are someone who doesn't resonate with this that profoundly, but this is where you need to become aware of your own personal choices and preferences, where you are a person who values and loves and admires innocence and good intent, a good heart, more than anything else in life. And if you are looking for a partner, well, that should be your main criteria, because right now you may not be really aware of this. You might be feeling that you are a very positive person, you're open, you're full of compassion and understanding, and you are willing to make compromises because you know that, no one's actually perfect. You have a lot of issues of your own, and a partner will also have to accept your weaknesses and flaws. But this is where things are not exactly that way, because there is a lot of compromises you are willing to do, because you are someone who wants to nurture, to care for someone, to offer love and feelings is very important to you, and that is absolutely fine. But when you offer it to a person who is not as innocent at heart as you are, who is not embodying that true soul level innocence, maybe they have sacrificed it for survival mentality, or maybe they just need to take life that much seriously, which takes away that innocence. Well, no matter how you're gonna wish to compromise, it will still not work in any way, shape or form, because if your heart wishes innocence, that is the only thing that is gonna work for you. And lust is also very important, because there is a physical element to it. And lust is basically just a big game. You can be compatible to so very many people, and it can be a major satisfaction in your life if you get that connection. But lust can fade away in just a blink of an eye. It is not permanent, it is changeable, it is so very questionable. But love will remain. Love is timeless. Love is where it may continue in a totally different form, but the essence is always gonna be there. So you need to choose a person who you're gonna love, and whose love you're gonna be able to accept in your life in a very timeless fashion. Because if lust fades away, then something has to stay in there to make that connection and relationship that you are actually seeking to be a permanent part of your life. Because you won't be able to hold out in a relationship where what your heart truly seeks, that innocent, is not really there. So basically, lust is perfectly fine. You can experiment. It is part of the human experience. But a very, very good physical compatibility and chemistry shouldn't be one of your criteria. It shouldn't be subjected to compromise. That shouldn't really matter for you whatsoever. But rather, what should really matter is what you love, respect, and admire from the very depths of your heart, and that is innocence. And that is the energy you're seeking in someone else. And the more honest you are with yourself, and the more you become aware of what you truly seek at the core of your being, then your quest for that relationship is going to be that much more easier. Because very soon you will get a lot of offers in your life, but it is when you get those offers when you will know exactly what you can work with and what has no chance whatsoever from a very romantic perspective, from a soul level perspective. But of course that doesn't mean that strictly corporally it won't be a positive experience, but just know what you're committing towards. You're not committing to the body, you're not committing to lust, which is just the game, it is basically like a multiplayer online game where so many potential souls, people are compatible with you, and there's no problem whatsoever playing a game, but that game must never be made serious. Only the soul level innocence that you are seeking can be a serious and permanent part of your life. And this is basically the message of your guides. This is why you're blocked in this area of your life. Now the next card is the Tower, and this usually is the card of upheaval, of crisis, when everything is crashing down on you. But you might be a person who already anticipated it, and it's one way or another looking for this, wanting this, no longer resisting it. Just that this episode in your life doesn't play out as you normally would expect to, because on one hand, this crisis and upheaval and these big closures have to do with the global situation. So you personally see it as an opportunity for you to shed off everything that you don't wish to have in your life anymore. But on the other hand, it's also a very powerful inner calling that you just want a new life and you don't want anymore to anything to do with the past and anything with the past. May that be relationship, friendships, work, career, or anything. You just want a new life, and you decided that you want a new life, you want a new beginning, and it doesn't matter what it takes, you're still gonna get it. And that is why you're so very ready, prepared to take this, leap of faith, this fall. Because, the Tower is basically associated with falling, with everything crashing down. But this isn't how it's happening in your life right now, despite your expectations and despite you already being prepared for this inside of yourself. For you, it's playing out in a totally opposite way, where it seems like climbing a massive, steep and dangerous mountain where the struggles and the effort is never ending, and of course the progress is extremely slow because it's still a big mountain. So basically you cannot understand why for you all of this is happening in a totally different manner than for other people, because you actually expected to fall, to break into a million different pieces, and then struggle and work hard to glue your pieces back together, and then slowly somehow starting a new life from scratch. And this isn't the way it's playing out in your life, because you're just being led on and led on and led on a path upwards where you don't even know where you're going, because do you have to climb all the way up to so that you can fall down again? But what you don't expect, and this is what your guides are telling you, is then that moment when you actually reach the top of that mountain, your new life is going to be waiting for you, already built and prepared and made ready in a perfect manner. So, your past was full of losses, falling. You have fallen so very many times, economically, financially, career-wise, psychologically, you name it. And this is where your destiny is going to be unfolding in a totally different way, where a new life just waits for you at the top of that mountain, and you're just gonna walk into it, and that's it. Easiness, flow, and just a life of comfort is going to be your future, and not the big struggle that you anticipate. And that is exactly why getting there seems like such an inhuman struggle, and sometimes it's like chasing windmills, because you feel like your climb is not getting you anywhere, but the efforts are superhuman already. You don't even know what to sacrifice or what to put in anymore. But this is exactly why it's so hard, because you're not actually falling, you're just climbing towards your new life. So basically your guides are telling you that yes, absolutely, there is a Tower moment coming in your life as well, but it's not what you expect, and it's not going to be falling and breaking into pieces, but rather persevering and reaching the finish line. The next card is the Emperor, and this speaks about the fact that you are starting to take back control and rulership over your life and over your destiny, basically. And the first requirements for this is learning to say no, learning to put up very stable boundaries, learning how to reject people who don't belong in your life and in your state of normality. And you're doing this work and you're actually doing a very, very good job, but you're starting to feel a little bit guilty because you really don't want to be perceived as an assertive or a selfish person who is driven by survival mentality. But your guides are telling you that you need to keep up this attitude, you need to keep up this work, because you don't need to feel guilty whatsoever, because this is just a normal thing that you need to accomplish. This is something that you should have done years ago for yourself, but you couldn't. You always allowed fate to decide, the universe to make this choice for you, who should and shouldn't be in your life. But right now, it is your choice, your call, and since the ruler, the emperor of your life is your heart space is your throne, then you cannot go wrong. This is the choice of your heart. Whatever you feel in your heart is your truth, and you shouldn't feel any guilt for that. For other people, this can also represent that there is like a paternal figure in your life, or a partner, a very strong male who is kind of fighting you a little bit in the present moment regarding your choices, or maybe the future you want to head towards. And you shouldn't really perceive or take the guidance of this person as offensive, or if they're trying to stop you from something, but rather you should take a look at their own life experience and wisdom of why they're giving you this advice, because there might be a lot of wisdom in their words and in their action. And of course, this doesn't mean that you should let yourself be convinced or anything. Just take a look at their own life experience, why they're giving you that advice or why they're behaving that way, because that will hold a lot of answers and guidance for you. Now, the last card is the Empress, and this is a special message and guidance, especially for moms, mothers out there who are doing all they can to be the best parent, to be the best mother, the best nurturer and protector for their families, but they may feel that they're not doing a very good job. They may feel that they're failing at being a mother. They may not be absolutely certain if their child takes their intent and their efforts as for what they truly are. And this can make you doubt yourself and doubt your motherhood. But this is where your guides are advising you that not only are you not failing at all, but you're excelling at being a mother, because basically you do everything in your power to make sure that your child gets the very, very best of you, your full attention, but at the same time you're still trying to do things your way, and you're not giving up on your independence. And sometimes this feels like a total dichotomy, because how can you be a caring and nurturing mom and an independent and powerful woman at the same time? But you're going to be so very grateful for yourself, because this is actually teaching your child the lesson of self-worth and of independence. And in the distant future, when your child is going to be standing from a place of very healthy self-worth and making very good choices for themselves in their lives, well, then you're going to be overjoyed that you did this very hard work in the present moment, because the best example is the one you give and you embody every single second and day of your life. So you are succeeding and you're doing more than a good job. Just that because you're so immersed right now, you cannot see your own brilliance. Well, thank you so much for listening. I hope that at least a few words of this whole guidance resonated and helped you. Until next time, bye for now.